How's it going? Welcome to Potter's Pod, the official Stoke City podcast. This is part 2 of our exclusive interview with the Stoke City midfielder Andrew Moran. So in the first part, if you've not watched the first part yet, I'd probably watch that before you watch this one. It is mint, but there's a load of stuff that we talk about in that first part that if you don't watch this second part, won't really make much sense. Do me a favour, before you get into it, subscribe to the channel for us. It makes a massive difference. This is part 2 of our exclusive interview with the Stoke City midfielder, Andrew Moran. We'll start talking about Stoke in a second, but you go to Brighton. You've obviously moved over to Ireland. You've obviously moved over from Ireland.
Yeah.
You turn up at Brighton. What's that like? Because you're going to the youth team to start.
Yeah, it was scary to be honest. Because when I was going over, you just have this perception of like English academies. I think we all do as like Irish lads growing up. Like they're so much better than we are. You just assume like every player. I was going over in my head thinking I'm gonna get released in a year here. I'm gonna be nowhere near the level. But I think it was really good because I had Lee Kavanagh, my mate from in that picture you showed me. That he's the real tall lad. He signed with me at the same time for Brighton, and we shared the digs together. So it was really nice to have like someone that just like a friendly face around. But like it's in your head, it's the scariest thing ever. But as soon as you get there, you realise like everyone's in the same boat. Like there was lads, one of my good mates, Zach Emerson, he had just signed from Oldham, so he was moving from Manchester-ish down to Brighton. So like not a different country, but still the same thing.
Pretty
as me.
much,
yeah,
is,
it is really. Yeah, it's probably quicker for me to get home than it was for him. And yeah, you just like. It's like wherever you go, you think it's so scary until you get there, and then you realise like we're all just normal lads just trying to like do well at football, and we can be mates at the same time. So yeah, you kind of build that friendship off. You're probably all a bit scared going, and you're trying to latch on to people, and yeah, no, it was easier than I could have ever imagined.
When you are there, obviously it's only relatively recently that you signed for the club. For a lot of people, Brighton are like this beacon of this is how a football club should be run.
Yeah.
A lot of players come through that are good young players that go on to get sold for a lot of money. Is that something in the back of your mind? You think, right, well, I'll go there? Because you were linked with lots of clubs when you could have gone to a few different ones. Were you thinking Brighton actually seems like a decent club for me?
To be
the
fair,
style of play.
I would. That's the first thing I think you've got wrong.
Oh, really?
I definitely wasn't linked with a lot of clubs.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
You can question me on it, but I can promise you I wasn't. Okay. I was actually quite lucky with my trial at Brighton, because the academy manager at Joey's or Bray, Will Clark, brilliant fellow as well. He knew Jon Walters, who was the academy manager at Brighton, and he was like, Will. They knew about Lee, so Lee was going on trial as like a normal trial. Brighton had found him themselves, but Will was like, John, will you take Andy as well? Like, we really like him. He can be good. So I was lucky. They just said, yeah, why not? If Lee's coming anyway, we may as well let Andy go. So luckily, the game I played, I done really well. And they ended up offering me a contract. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'd only been on one other trial, and I didn't hear anything back from that. So I wouldn't say I was like highly rated. Yeah, so that's another reason why I thought like I'm going to be nowhere near the level. I've been lucky to get this Brighton deal. They're going to realise as soon as I go that I'm no use. They're going to throw me out like. But yeah, that's why I was quite scared going over, and then once I did go over, I realised like the more you train and play, like I'm at this level, I can compete here. I'm able for this.
Is it almost like imposter syndrome?
It is exactly that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And you're just thinking like I'm going to be nowhere near this, but
you're going to get a tap on the shoulder. Come on.
Yeah, we've caught you. You're out. Yeah. No, it was a little bit, to be honest. I think I just needed to back myself a bit more. Yeah.
When you signed for Brighton, obviously you went through the youth system, etc., but you played a Premier League game.
I did.
One so far. So obviously many more to come with Stoke.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
That was a game against Everton.
It was, yeah. I'd been on the bench a good few times up until then, and I'd never come on. And that was under De Zerbi. When he came in, he kind of brought me up to like the first team changing room, and I was constantly training with the first team, and it was brilliant. Like, you learn so much under him. Like, the way you see football after working with him is like completely different.
Like what?
Just to be honest, similar to the gaffer here, like just the detail he goes into is like mind blowing, and it's like,
give us an example, because people say this, and I'm not calling out for a cliche, just for
yeah,
reference.
okay, yeah.
But like, what does that mean?
I
Like,
know,
give
and
me a
it's
practical
really
example.
hard to give you an example.
Is it like, right, okay, when he gets the ball, he usually turns onto his right foot, and he'll always look to put it out wide, that kind of thing?
No, it's more like everything, every little step that you make, like even if you're on the other side of the pitch, it affects their setup, the defensive setup, and it affects how we build up. Just, it's hard to give an exact example, to be honest, without like a tactics board or something. But
so it's like, right, if you get the ball and you get caught out of position, the reason why that's bad is because they'll attack down this way. Or is
Yeah.
it more of a, like an attacking thing, whereas if you run out that way, it'll drag a player out?
or it's like, if you're, say the centre back loses the ball, he can bring it back to like the left winger being out of position, and that's why their defence was able to step up or something like that. Like, it's just little things that you'd never notice, that the details that they show you, that they just open your eyes to the way the game can be played and how you can affect them, which obviously helps you. If you can pin them back, it helps you play football and stuff like that. And
is that too much for some players?
it is a lot. It is, especially for a young player, kind of training with the first team, when you're already nervous enough. You're just worrying about like the basics, like your touch and all. You're trying to impress everyone, and then you're thinking of all the tactical stuff as well. It is quite tough, yeah. But it's just, if you
need to learn it.
Yeah, you need to learn it, and if you can get the hang of it and be comfortable with it, it'll make the game 10 times easier for you.
I interrupted you when you told me about Everton.
No, you're good. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I went on a bit of a tangent, but
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I was training with the first team, was on the bench a good few times, and then I never got on. And there was a couple of times where I was close, where like the assistant manager, or he wasn't assistant at the time, he was just a coach at the time. He's the assistant manager now, Crofty, who was my 21s manager at Brighton. He had told me a couple of times before, like, get warm, there's a chance you're coming on. And I didn't, so I was thinking, oh, it's never going to happen. I really want to get on, just be able to play in the Premier League. Like. And in that Everton game, they went 4-0 up, and I was thinking, right, there might be a chance here. So as I was warming up, Lallana came down to grab me, because he was told that he was coming on with me. So he was like, Andy, come on, we're coming on. And I was like, oh my God, this is unreal, like amazing. One of the best feelings ever, yeah.
Was it one of those where you think, are you sure you mean me?
Yeah, I had to kind of, me, you sure?
Yeah. Is it the Andes? I don't know who the Andes.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. Yeah, it was a bit like pinch me kind of moment, yeah. But to be honest, it's a bit like what I said earlier. Like, as soon as like Ads was like to me, Andy, come on, we're coming on. It's like, obviously in the moment you're not thinking this is unbelievable. In the moment you're a bit like nervous. You're like, right, I need to be on it now. It's like game mode. You don't really appreciate it till it's over. You know what I mean?
You spent the 23-24 season on loan at Blackburn, a large chunk of it.
Yeah.
When you look through some of the players that you played with in that Blackburn team, the team as a whole didn't like get promoted or pull any trees up, with some amazing players in that team.
Yeah. No, it was really enjoyable, to be honest, for a first loan. From the second I went, the lads were so sound and really good with me, because like they're looking at me like thinking, right, you've never played a senior season. Like they had no reason to like. You kind of felt like you had to win them over a little bit, but I didn't feel like I was being looked down on or anything. So no, it was brilliant. I made some like brilliant friends there, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't say anything but good things.
We'll talk about Stoke in depth in a second, but some of those players we mentioned, Adam.
Yeah. Oh, he's unbelievable, lads. I was quite close with Ads, because like the younger lads there,
because he's 20, isn't he? So he's a
a year younger than me. Yeah, he's 20. I think he's 04. I think he's 2004. Ads, Harry Leonard. Loads of the lads I was real close with. We had a good team, to be fair. Yeah,
he went on to play for England.
I know, he was in the Euro squad, sure, wasn't he? Yeah, he was.
For people that don't know, he was playing for Blackburn, then moved to Crystal Palace. Yeah, and then went on to represent England in the Euros.
Yeah. So he was Blackburn his whole life, I think. And then in Jan he got the move to Palace, who are Brighton's rivals, so we can't really be mates anymore. No, he's the most down to earth fella you'll ever meet. Like, he's I don't think he realizes like how good he is. And I'm seeing like links with him to like Real Madrid and all, and it's like the most chilled out normal person ever. It's great to see. He deserves it all. He's such a good player as well.
Stoke. Let's talk about Stoke.
Let's talk Stoke. Yeah.
How much was Jon Walters a kind of a point of view coming to the club?
Yeah, pretty big to be fair. He was. I know John from Ireland squads. He was a coach in the Ireland 19s when I was there. Brilliant person.
He's one of the first people you followed on Instagram as well, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe from sure, he was, when I was growing up, he was playing for Ireland, so probably that. Yeah. It's weird that. Yeah. Don't tell him that.
Oh yeah, I won't. You might ruin it for it.
Yeah. No, sure. Like that's another thing. Like he was not just being my coach. Like he genuinely someone I used to look up to. Like him. He was in that 2016 team. That was like, from me being alive, that's the best Ireland team I've ever seen. Getting to the quarters of the Euros. Yeah. So he was a big part of it. Obviously the manager who was here, he's not here anymore. He was a big part. I really liked him. He was really good with me. Kind of like giving me a plan of like how it would go, and then just the club itself. Like obviously, when I was growing up, Stoke, massive Premier League team. Like, because I'm an Arsenal fan. I
didn't know if you wanted me to mention that.
Yeah,
there's certain things when you're doing this job where you think, do I admit that bit of detail or do I put that in?
Yeah, probably shouldn't say that, but yeah. So I was an Arsenal fan growing up, and Stoke used to always give Arsenal a horrible time. Like they'd always beat them here. So yeah, obviously knew how big of a club it was and how good the fans are and stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of it was a load of things kind of in one. It wasn't just one thing really, you know what I mean?
First impressions of the dressing room?
Oh, brilliant. My first, I don't know if people know this, but when I signed, I didn't actually like train or go to the training ground or anything. I signed on an e-document or DocuSign or something in Brighton, in the Brighton training ground, and then went straight up to the hotel in Watford, because that's who Stoke were playing, Watford, that day or the next day. And if I didn't sign by 12 o'clock, I don't think I would have been able to be in the squad. And I think it got done at like 11:53 or something like that.
So no fax machine?
I don't know.
I've been brought up on lies that it's a fax machine.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it was. I signed something. I could have signed anything. I don't know. I was just trying to get it done real quick. There could be anything in that contract. I don't know. But yeah. So I literally signed, drove up to the hotel without training with any of the lads or anything. And I just met them the night before. Yeah, and literally...
What's that like? Because obviously everyone that listens to these podcasts has gone into a job for the first time, but they've not turned up at a hotel the night before playing a championship football match. I know.
Yeah, no, it is weird, to be honest. Yeah, and I literally went in and had to stand up on a chair and sing my initiation song. That was almost like my first impression to everyone, was just me singing Ed Sheeran. Like it was a bit strange, to be honest. I was literally singing in front of these lads that I've never spoke to. Yeah, it was strange, but they were brilliant. Like they're all so, it's such a good change room we've got there. There's like a really nice mix of like older lads and younger boys. And I think like there's a lot of young players, but we have good enough experienced players around us that can like help us through tough times and like guide us through certain moments that they have to guide us through, because they've been there and done that, and we kind of need that guidance around us, I think.
Who did you gravitate to?
It's hard to say.
Tom Cannon you'd know before, wouldn't you?
I knew Tom, but he wasn't there by then. I knew Boss from before. I know Boss years growing up in Ireland. He played for Kevins and Bows, so I'd always be playing against Boss. Yeah, I knew Enda from an Ireland squad. Yeah, a lot of the young lads as well, like Kumas and Tez. I'm quite close with them. Saul as well. And I know Niall from Blackburn. Me and Niall were quite close at Blackburn, so we're still really good mates. Ash as well. Kind of had a few things in common with Ash. Used to play for Blackburn, so knew a few lads like mutually, you know what I mean? So loads, to be fair. I wouldn't say I'm in one particular like clique. I think I'm good mates with the whole squad, really. Yeah.
Social butterfly.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Emre Tezgal, you mentioned there, and Sol Sidibe, they're both local lads.
Yeah.
How much do they tell you about being in and around Stoke?
Yeah, to be fair, I was in the hotel for a while, So Tez was giving me like places to go for food and all, just so I wasn't eating hotel food all the time. So yeah, that was
Were they
nice.
good suggestions? Would you take suggestions from him in the future?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah. We've got a nice few restaurants around Stoke.
Yeah, doing all right. Okay, so you turn up, you're in. Obviously, you make your debut, etc., etc., etc. One thing I want to know about, right? And this is someone who's never played professional football. There's quite a few long trips, right?
Yeah.
So we've done a few when we were recording this. We've done a few fairly recently.
Yeah.
When you get on that team bus, what's the etiquette? Because I imagine there'd be people there that've been at the club for a while or older than you that might have, you know, when you walk in anywhere, there's always, oh, that's my seat.
That's
and all
my
that
seat.
kind of
Yeah.
What's the etiquette?
Yeah, it is a little bit like that when you first join. You don't want to sit in the wrong seat.
No.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No one tells you this though, do they?
No, because there's no. You
don't
can't
get asked
ask
these
this
questions
either.
on
Yeah,
proper
you
football
can't ask
podcasts.
because then you look like you're just too scared to do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, it's a little bit like the meeting room. I had that problem at the start. The meeting room we have is like a few rows of chairs, and obviously lads who've been here a while have their like specific seat that they sit in. And for the first like, I'd say only up until like a month ago, I was sitting just like musical chairs basically, because every time I'd sit somewhere, someone would be like, right, that's my chair, and you don't want to sit in someone's seat. So I finally found my seat now, where no one else sits there. That's my seat. So I have it sorted now. Yeah.
What about on the team bus?
Team bus is all right. To be fair, no one's really that. We don't have any like divas really that care. I think I haven't seen anyone get moved out of a.
Should we make some
Bus
up?
seat.
Make up some rumours? Ben Gibson, real diva.
Millie
Ben
kicked
Gibson.
me out. Yeah,
Yeah, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's what
No,
you need to do.
We're quite good to be fair. It's just the meeting room. People are superstitious about it. Like if we win the week before, you can't move seats, stuff like that.
Who's superstitious?
No, I honestly
No,
don't.
you said
No,
people.
I
No,
don't.
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
an
no.
example for you. I actually
Okay.
don't. I just, yeah, people want their seat. You know what I mean?
Okay. So when you're on this team bus, I've got questions about this team bus, genuine
Really
questions.
interested in the bus,
I
aren't you?
really am, because I think to myself, when I'm driving, I just look for a certain supermarket to pull off to
Yeah,
on the way.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? When you are on that meeting bus, sorry, when you're on that team bus, what are you the person that gets involved in cards? Are you playing on your whatever? Are you on your iPad? or
Yeah, there is a
generic
group
tablet?
of cards at the back. Yeah, I'm not a big cards player. I sit with Kumas and Tez, and no, we just talk really. Just a bit boring, but yeah, we just talk.
Isn't it?
It is a bit boring, yeah. But no, we have a good time.
I built it. I wish I hadn't asked you now. 'cause
Yeah,
I
no,
built
the
it up in
bus
my head.
isn't. It's not as interesting as you think. You know, the good thing about Stoke is there's not that many long journeys.
Yeah.
Like the longest we have is because we're so central. Like probably 3 hours, 3.5. Like I'm used to Brighton and Blackburn even a little bit. Blackburn being so north, when you play like a Southampton or something, it's ages. And Brighton was every away game was miles. Yeah, it's a little perk about playing for Stoke. You don't have the longest of away games.
Yeah, get that down. Get that updates on the
Yeah.
LinkedIn. Tell Jon Walters to tell other
yeah,
players.
yeah.
So when you come into that team and you go into training and all that kind of stuff, how conscious are you in that first training session to make sure it doesn't go wrong? Because you hear so many stories about players that have played for clubs that have been ruined on the first day of training. There's some quite famous ones. What are you like?
Yeah, no, I'd probably go the opposite way. I think I'm more on the first day trying to like be like ultra good, like trying to be not about it not going wrong. I'm trying to like make a really good first impression. And it's not even just to like get yourself in the team. Like it's not even like you're trying to show the manager like play me. It's more just like the players, because you want the players to trust you and you want them to like, oh, this fella can play, let's give him the ball, like stuff like that. You just, it's so important like the first week or two to just like kind of gain everyone's trust and for everyone to think, right, he can play a bit, like let's not be scared to give him the ball, stuff like that.
And so the follow-up question I've got for that, because I thought you might answer like that, is who is...
Is that cliche?
No. I
was
wanted you
alright.
to say that because I wanted to know who is the player that people look up to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's unwritten rule.
In the Stoke team?
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone now, listen to this, who go to work, know that there's a couple of people in their workplace that are the, I want to say OGs, but the ones where you go, if I can impress them, I know that that's a good sign.
It's a good question. I'd say obviously like the real voice of the change room would be Gibbo. Gibbo, Frankie. Yeah, but I would. It's not like it's not like you have to impress Gibbo or you're done. Like I don't think it's that kind of environment. I wouldn't say it's just like one player. You're like, oh, I need to impress him. I need him to be on side. It's
a
just
general thing.
It's just in general. Yeah, you just want people to trust you, and it's a big thing in football. Like if people trust you, they'll give you the ball in tight spaces. They'll look for you. You know what I mean? And if maybe they don't trust you as much, maybe they won't give you the ball when you could score or something like that. So yeah, it's a big thing, and you just want to make sure the first week that you can only have one first impression. Like, so you want to make sure that everyone is kind of on your side from day one.
Don't give me names, but have you seen at other clubs where players just aren't trusted, and you think they could have squared that to them, but they didn't because they don't trust them? Don't name names.
I've never seen anything like first day, let's write him off. Nothing like that. But I think it's just, even if you might have a bad day on the ball or something, but if you just show that you're like, your attitude's right, that's the main thing. Like if you're running around chasing everything, that's brilliant. Like no one will fault you. If I've kind of learned that in football, like if you can have, everyone has bad games, but at least if you just show that you're fighting and you really care, and you can't go too far wrong.
Have you got any vices?
Any which?
Vices. Do you like collect trainers or...
Vices? Is that an English thing?
No, I think it's just like a normal...
Like souvenirs almost?
Well, so a vice would be like, I like to, let's say, I like to go, if it's the summer, I like to go on a night out, or I like to... But rather than like
hobbies?
What things... No, I wouldn't say hobby, because that might be cliche.
Okay,
I would say like, I spend too much money on trainers, or I spend too much money on a watch collection. Yeah. The reason why I ask you this is because not ever being a professional footballer yet, and I had yet, I'm not giving up, is I like to think that if I were a 21-year-old professional footballer, I'd be like chucking money left, right and centre on trainers. Yeah,
I'm pretty boring with that. I actually don't have anything, like you can probably see my clothes now, I'm not wearing anything too fancy.
Cars?
Car's quite nice, yeah. I suppose so.
Can I encourage you to live a little? Can
you probably I actually, my girlfriend goes mad at me for this. She's telling me like, why do I not like buy myself things? Like, why am I not treating myself?
I don't want you to be just like a normal lad. I want you to say,
why am I being so normal?
Don't be normal. Go, Rob, to be honest with you, I've got an absolutely amazing Rolex collection. Next time I see you, maybe that can be a build for the future.
Yeah, no, I'm too boring with it. You've given me... you'll see me next time. I'll come back with 8 watches on.
This is an AP.
Yeah.
I'm saying all these names now just in case anyone's listening from Rolex and wants to send both of us a book.
And by the way, I cannot afford 8 watches, so let's not go.
But we would accept free ones.
Yeah, we'll take a free one. Yeah.
One of the things that I think we need to talk about as well is there's going to be a lot of people, as you get more and more successful, that do these kind of interviews with you. And there's a lot of charlatans, right? There's a lot of people that aren't very good and they busk it. I say that because that has been me in the past. So what I think we need to do, because of the fact that you, by your own words, you're pretty boring, is a lot of people
Thanks, by the way.
You said that, not me. A lot of people will go onto, that are quite lazy, will go onto websites like Wikipedia and try and interview you off that.
Yeah.
So a new interactive element of the podcast that I want to introduce is something called 2 Truths and a Lie.
Okay.
Right. So this is the reason. It's a little in-joke for me and you and people listening to this podcast, because they'll know, right? They'll be listening out for it. So we need to come up with 2 truths that aren't on your Wikipedia, and we need to make something up so that when you get asked those questions in future, you can automatically go, this person interviewing me is a mug.
Okay.
Right? So 2 things. So Damien Duff going around your house, no one knew that. Yeah. That's not on your Wikipedia, so we can have that one. Is there anything else that we can do as a truth?
As a truth?
Yeah. Is there anything else that's like quite a good fact about you that is not out there?
You've stumped me here.
Okay. I'm thinking, what else we said that's been quite interesting? We're talking about, you can just say that you don't have, so you don't have anything in your life that you collect. That's truth.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So there's your 2 truths.
Yeah.
So someone, obviously I wouldn't do this, but someone listening might go onto Wikipedia and update your Wikipedia to say it's not known if Andrew collects anything.
Yeah.
But Damien Duff went round his house. That's going to be on there, right? So now this is the important one, okay?
Let's come up with a lie.
Right. So I've got 3 for you.
Okay.
Pick whichever one you want, right? A good lie like this is something that people can't just disprove and discount straight away, right? Number 1, I'm thinking you were on the original Teletubbies, you know, the baby that used to come up as the sun?
Yeah.
You were that baby.
Yeah. Okay,
right?
I like that one. That's a good
Okay,
start.
That's a good start. Number 2, if you're going to make a lie about yourself, it's got to be something that that's good.
Be proud of.
Yes. So something
Like being the son in the Teletubbies.
yes, that's a good one. But like when Andrew retires, he plans to give away all the money that he's earned
Yeah, nice.
to charity,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
he's
yeah.
going to work in charity. That's what his long-term goal is, right?
Yeah.
Or number 3, which is something, again, people can't disprove. You first learnt about the interest from Stoke City when you were on holiday in a gym. See, makes you look like you're constantly working, and you bumped into Jon Walters in Barbados. See what I mean?
Yeah,
Because they're good. Because
yeah.
like, who's going to say, "Oh no, they all seem."
Well, no one can tell me I'm lying, can they? 'Cause
Exactly.
they weren't there.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah, all right.
So
I
which
like the
one-
Teletubbies one though.
Okay, fine.
I'll go with that one.
So when someone says to you, right, everyone listening to this now, remember when someone on a broadcast interview says, "Oh, tell me about the time when you were studying Teletubbies," you can go, "You haven't done your research."
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Let's talk more about Stoke. Narcís Pèlach, you mentioned him earlier on when you were talking about De Zerbi at Brighton. What has he brought to the club?
He's been brilliant. Yeah, I think he's like just when he speaks and in his meetings, I think the lads just like kind of hang off everything he says. Like he's so detailed, and you can see everything that we're doing has a reason behind it. He'll tell us something and then explain why. I just think like we all can see how much he knows the game, and his knowledge of the game is massive, and we just see how much he can help us, and I think we're all just like buying in completely to like kind of get the benefits of his brain, really. Yeah,
People have described his knowledge of football as scary.
yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's like I said, he reminds me in ways to De Zerbi. Just kind of the way they see the game is like just ultra detailed. Like they're like different philosophies. Obviously every coach has their own like tactics and way of playing, but like just the way they go so in depth into every little thing. Yeah, it's like it's inspiring, like, and the way they speak and the way they like motivate, it's inspiring before you go out to play. Yeah.
How far do you think he can go?
It's definitely not for me to say, but I think he can be a top manager, and I think he will be. I think we just have to like enjoy the time we have under him, because he's brilliant.
He seems like one of those people that is just not only like you meet him as a normal person, he seems like he's just obsessed with football.
Yeah.
Like when you chat to me and say, "Oh, what about this? What about that?" It's just like everything's about football.
Yeah, and I think all the best managers are really. I think like I've seen the same with De Zerbi. I think when you see clips of like Pep, you can see like his whole life is football really. Yeah, it's. I think it's really if your manager's obsessed with it, it's only gonna push the team even more, and it's only gonna like if they're obsessed with something, their knowledge of it is gonna be massive. So if they're drip feeding us that bits of that knowledge, it can only help us. Yeah.
One of the questions I've got to ask you, so we've got 2 more things to do.
Yeah.
One of the questions I've got to ask you is, does anyone in the team have any weird superstitions? I see a lot of players, you know, when you see them on telly, they like hop on one leg.
Oh, I
before
do that.
going.
I do that actually. Yeah, it's quite weird. I don't know why either. My first step on the pitch is my left foot, and then my second step is my left foot as well. So I kind of like hop and then do a jump. It's really weird. I've been doing it for ages, and I'm a little bit like that. Like if I do something and it works, I won't stop doing it.
Where did it come from, do you know?
I've no idea.
Far be it for me to critique your game, because obviously you're
You
a
can
very
tell
good
me
footballer.
that's weird. I
No,
know.
I would never do that to you. I'm too respectful. You should have learned this by now. One thing I think you need to improve
Yeah.
is a celebration.
Okay, yeah. A few of the lads gave me stick today because
Yeah.
of my celebration, didn't I?
Yeah. So we're recording this a couple of days after the 2-2 draw with Bristol City
Yeah.
at the Bet365 Stadium. I was in the south stand, standing, and you ran off and celebrated to our left-hand side. And I remember thinking at the time, I was with my mate Chimino,
Yeah.
and I said, he needs a celebration. Do you think of all the big people, they've all got celebrations. So if you're going to go to the top level, you need a celebration.
Yeah, I think you're right. Against Portsmouth, I did it was the first time I've ever done like a out there celebration. I done a knee slide and I did a little salute
Okay.
because I'd seen last year at Blackburn, Smodics used to always do that. So I was like, that's cool, I'm going to do that. And I did it and I didn't like it. I didn't, it wasn't
not
that
you.
cool.
It's not you.
No, it wasn't
No.
that cool. I didn't like watching it back.
No. anything that you wouldn't do for a celebration? Because I'm thinking...
Are you trying to give me a celebration here?
I would not. What I'm thinking is to include the listener to the podcast is, can they send in suggestions?
Yeah, feel free, send in suggestions. If I like it, I'll do it, yeah.
Okay, and then maybe we can come back, revisit this towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. But nothing like... I see sometimes when people post and they go top comment, I'll do whatever it is.
No.
You can be very worried about what that top comment is going to be.
You're not that needy.
It could be illegal as well, what they comment. So
you're not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You don't need external validation.
Yeah,
you are
exactly.
who you are.
Exactly.
There's two things we've got to do. We've got to play a game called Love It or Leave It.
Okay.
And the other thing, we're introducing a lot of new things on this podcast. So one of the ways that other Stoke fans can find out about this podcast is when people leave positive ratings on wherever they listen to this podcast, be that Spotify, Apple, etc. One of the things that I really want to happen is people to leave nice comments, because that means more people get to listen to it. And also, it's good for you, because you can go into the change room, you can go, Victor, yeah, you might have been in the top 5 most downloaded sports podcasts, but look at mine. Mine's number 1 because there are people listening to it. So we've got some of the comments. Okay. What I want you to do is pick your favourite comment, and that can be the comment of the week.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay. We're not going to come back to you every single week for this. We'll obviously change it up. But here's the first one. So this, people don't know this is happening. So this is just what they've left naturally without being pushed.
Is this on Vic's post? Or
this is on the general Potters.
Yeah,
this is on the general Potters pod. So first comment ever was quite a straightforward one, which was just, I'll pass. Now that means always loyal, always proud, always Stoke. So that was by Stoke City Rock.
Right, I like that one.
Second comment was, excellent, insightful pod so far. Keep up the good work. Thumbs up, and then the emoji.
Nice.
That was by Music on the Edge. And then bear in mind, this is the first time we've done it, so don't think, there's not that many. It's from Potter Plant. It says, I've enjoyed this podcast, and it's good to get to know the players more. More of the same, please, and keep it up.
Oh, that's a nice one, isn't it?
So which one are you going for your comment of the week?
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Okay.
That was like detailed.
Yeah,
he gave like a PQE.
Okay.
That was like a school answer.
Yeah, we like that.
I liked it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so congratulations. Can we have like a jingle for this, maybe? Do you reckon we can get a jingle for this? No, we're not going to have a jingle. It's like, if you want to go off in your flights of fancy, Rob, you do that. We're not wasting time making a jingle. That's fine. So congratulations to Potter Plan. You've got the comment of the week. What a time to be alive. One thing that did upset me a little bit, and I would get upset by this, on one podcast provider, we are 4.9 out of 5. So that means that everyone, apart from one person, has given us 5 out of 5. And just one really angry person. One really angry person gave 1.
Gave a 1.
Why would you do that?
On which one?
We don't know. Let's blame Ben Gibson, I think.
Gibbo.
Just blame Gibbo.
He was just being boring, was he?
He really
Gibbo,
was. Man. Suggestion for the next time that you score, because obviously you're going to score many times this season, is so that people know that you care about the people listening to this podcast. Obviously.
So you just guilting me into it. Right.
That's my
so
interviewing
if you
style.
don't do this, you don't care about me. Right, brilliant.
Is maybe, could you run up to the corner flag and then like talk into it, pretending it's like a
microphone?
Yeah, like a podcast mic.
Okay, yeah. If I remember in the heat of scoring a massive goal for Stoke City, yes, okay. I will do it. I'll try.
When you do run up to the corner flag, that is specifically from what happened on this.
Yeah. That's fine. You've guilted me into it then. I can't say no now, can I? You just, if I don't do it, I don't care about the fans.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been genuinely fantastic.
No, it's been brilliant.
Get to know you. The one thing that we finish every podcast with, it's a little game called Love It or Leave It. What happens is, I give you a subject and you say, Rob, love that. Right, I'm all over it. Like, inject it into my veins, or leave it. Nah, it's not for me. Okay.
Okay.
So it's general topics.
Right. So this isn't like football here. This could be anything.
No, not football.
Oh, football.
This podcast is very, very loosely linked to football, as you found out. So this is Love It or Leave It. This is copyrighted Rob Adcock.
Okay.
2018.
Nice.
First thing I'm going to give to you, Love It or Leave It, is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, leave it to be harsh, but I prefer Messi. But still unbelievable. Like, so I go love it, but not as much as Messi.
Okay. Messi's the one person that they say to you to take as an example, didn't they? When you St. Joe's.
Yeah, it's the easy one. You're tiny, he was tiny. Be like him, basically. Yeah.
So there are a couple that we always ask. This is one that we always ask: is social media, love it or leave it?
I enjoy it, but I would rather a world where there was no social media, I think.
Why?
It's just quite negative at times. But I still enjoy like TikTok and all.
What kind of things do you watch on TikTok?
Oh, I don't even know. TikTok's just a mad place. You go on there at 6 o'clock and you're on it for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like 9 at night. I don't know. You just get lost in a void. But yeah, I enjoy like TikTok and like YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I'd go love it.
Okay, go a little bit. So TikTok, you prefer TikTok out of all the social media platforms?
TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, yeah, they'd be probably my three.
The other one that I like to ask is cocktails. Love them or leave them.
Oh.
Obviously, for the purpose of this recording, just in case Narcís or Jon's listening, Jon Walters, obviously, you would never do this in season. This is purely when you're out of season and you're in that.
No, leave it.
Don't be a square.
What's a cocktail?
Good.
No, I honestly, I would say leave it. I'm not really a big fan of cocktails.
Okay. What, are you more of a real ale man? What are you saying? Or just
yeah, just like a beer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're really going against his boring tag, aren't you, mate? You're really doing strong.
Beer or Guinness.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There we go. That's a bit more. Is that a bit better?
Okay.
It's a bit more stereotypical.
Final one. So, there's a lot of pressure on this. Don't rush into this. This is a big thing. So, as we always say, people could have listened and thought, you know what? Andy seems like a good bloke. I enjoy watching him on the pitch. I like his style of football.
Yeah.
He spoke some sense. I feel like I know him that little bit better.
Right.
He really, I feel like he's my friend possibly now. He's going to do that celebration to the microphone into the corner flag when he scores.
Yeah.
We've got a connection, right? But what you say now could completely ruin all that.
Okay.
So don't rush into it.
So this is like a real deep, meaningful question, I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Are you ready? Pineapple on pizza.
Oh my god. Leave it.
Why did you say, oh my god, like that?
I thought this was going to be a proper serious question.
What? And that's not.
This is actually quite big in my house because my brother loves it. But no, leave it. Big leave it. Yeah. It's horrible. It's a vegetable. Or is it a fruit?
It's a fruit.
It's a fruit. Why would you have... You wouldn't have banana on a pizza, would you?
You speaking sense.
Leave it.
Thank you.
That was the easiest question of the day. That was easy.
Cheers for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Loved it.
What a proper sound bloke. But the second he scores and runs down to that corner flag, you'd be like, I knew exactly what's going on. If you like these, but you're more of a person who likes to listen to kind of things rather than watch it, you can listen to an audio version of this. Go to wherever you get your podcast from, click on that, and you can download and subscribe on there. But why not like this video and subscribe to the channel as well? There's loads of good stuff on there. Also, you get to know the second anything gets dropped on this channel, like interviews like this. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you soon.
Potter's Pod, the official Stoke City podcast.